If you own a two-wheel drive Traxxas, this has probably happened to you or some variation of this before, which is these ears on these drive shafts, not the strongest things in the world. With enough power, like from a brushless system to 3S LiPo, you will end up splitting them and they will come off. Either these tabs will break or you will just physically split them and they will come apart. We're going to be fixing that today on this Traxxas two-wheel drive Slash with these Techno. This is the M6 Driveshaft kit for the two-wheel drive Traxxas Slash's Rustlers. What we're looking at is converting this whole drive shaft over to metal, and Techno also provides different uprights here for the rear. So we will be converting this whole rear end over to this Techno system. It comes with bearings and all sorts of stuff so that we can get this all up and running. Very must-have upgrade if you have a Traxxas two-wheel drive and you plan to run brushless and LiPo in it. You will eventually need to do this. So today I'm going to show you how to do it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy and this is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product videos and how-tos. And I'm going to get started today by opening this up, seeing what all is actually included in here, and checking out the instructions. This is TKR1951X. I will provide a link down in the video description to where you can buy it yourself. Included in here, we have two different sets of uprights. We have the metal drive shafts, out drives right there themselves. We actually have some hexes, some bearings, some washers that we need. They give you fancy Techno stickers if you want your Techno stickers, and then the instructions. And it's very important to watch the instructions to make sure that you're putting these axles together correctly. When it comes to disassembly, some of the first things that we need to do, obviously I got the wheel nut and the wheel itself off. I need to go ahead and take this hex off. This bottom lower hinge pin, and this is actually an STRC upgraded hinge pin on here. I can have a link to the video down below where I upgraded this whole car with the hinge pins. And then on these diff cups back here, there's actually going to be a screw that goes into those diff cups that lets us take the drive shaft out. So we need to figure out how the easiest way is to get to that. It's very easy on the left-hand side of the vehicle. On the right-hand side, we may have to get this dust cover off first. Note, of course, we also need to take this upper link off because we need to replace this. These are actually marked left and right, and you want to pay attention when you put the new ones back on because that will actually change the rear toe of your vehicle, and you want to make sure that you get that a little bit toed in the rear, and that's what the two different hex sets are that come with the kit. Now, if you take the gear cover off and you get your tool in there just right, you can actually get to that axle pin right there. Otherwise, you're going to need to take that spur gear off. You do need to keep this pin because we're going to be reusing it in the new drive shaft. And with that loose, this whole thing should come out. The whole old drive shaft is now gone. First step we're going to do is we're going to put the new out drive cup back in there. It slides right in place of where that one just came out from and uses that exact same screw to go right back through it. Now, please use some blue Loctite on this when you put this back together, otherwise, because you do not want this vibrating back loose. That is now in there, covers back on, so we are in great shape. We are ready to proceed to taking apart this. So I have the hex off of it. We need to keep this pin because we need to reuse it. And then we push out this stub axle. The truth is, I don't think, watch this washer. We may end up needing that washer, but otherwise the bearings and this drive shaft, we should not need the rest of it. I'll need to transfer this screw over to the new one. Now, I don't think the camera is going to pick it up, but right in the middle here, you actually do have right and left markings on these new hubs, and then right above these two circles, I have either 1/2 degree or 1.5 degree. Again, that's going to be an indication of how much toe in we have on the vehicle, and so again, that's either giving you two choices there for tuning. I'm probably going to go with the 1.5 degree and see how that looks. See if it looks like it's too aggressive to start with, maybe swapping back to the half. Note that I'm not really trying to change a lot on the total alignment of this vehicle, and so when I look at it and I try to line up kind of center line of axle where those are going to be, it looks like the bottom hole that I was using here, it kind of aligns with the top hole on the new arm. And then this one mounting hole that was used before looks like it might be the inside bottom most hole. So those are going to be probably where I'm going to put all this back in as a baseline. It does show you pretty clearly in the instructions. It does come with 2 different sizes of bearings, and so you'll be putting the smaller bearing in the outside, bigger bearing on the inside. Pretty self-explanatory there. But now we need to get to assembling these actual drive shafts themselves. And they're pretty easy, actually. You need to start with the dog bone portion here, and one of these little guides. You put this little pivot point in here to where the hole aligns through here. You align that with the hole that's coming in from the diff cup. And then you can put this through all of them. You just got to kind of play, get it lined up, and there you go. Now that is fully assembled. If you have any kind of grease that you like to use on metal-to-metal parts, this is a grand opportunity to use some. I was a little surprised the kit didn't come with it. I know on my MIP kits, they assemble very, very similarly, and they always come with a little bit of grease to put in there. But again, that's up to you and how clean you're going to keep your vehicle and what you expect and how you expect to use it. So with that assembled, then slide that whole assembly into this hub, and that's what keeps that pin in there so none of this can come apart while you're driving. This whole thing now is going to go back on the car. And just like that, bolted in, we now have a very strong metal drive shaft here. It did use the metal hex on here on the outside, and this is bolted back into where I thought it was roughly with the other one. Again, I'm using the 1.5 degree rear hubs, which look, so far without the tire on them, actually look pretty appropriate. So I am going to go ahead and swap over here to this other side. It should be just the same as this one, obviously just with the other hubs on it and everything, and it looks like it'll actually be even easier to get to this portion of the drive shaft here. So this side should be very simple. I will come back and let you know if I've had any issues along the way. Well, there you go. That actually was super duper simple. Went on without any kind of issues whatsoever, and now we have 2 much stronger drive shafts for this Traxxas Slash. Really happy to get these on here and know that I just don't have to worry about those plastic drive shafts coming apart like they did again. That is it. Slash is all back together, ready to go out and run. If you have any questions about what I did or how I did it or why I did it, please leave them down in the comments below. If you're curious about any other modifications I've done to this Slash 2-wheel drive, they will be in a playlist over here to your right. You can go there and check that out. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.